All right, welcome back, CSE 3200 Yukon stores. I just wanted to show you that before I move on, I did change the manifest back so that the main activity is the one that is going to get launched. This brings us up to about today. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the manifest. Here are some strings, and I actually have one more string that I could put in there based off of some code that I started with, but you can pause the screen here and get that information if you couldn't have already inferred that information. So I'm going to get rid of strings. Okay. The next thing I did is I showed people what my listener was going to be for my activity robot purchase buttons. So in robot purchase, I will show that my make purchase was going to have this code. Now what this code is going to do is it's going to see how much energy I currently have, and at the time it started with 2. And if I click a button where the cost of a reward is 1, it'll subtract 1 from that cost and give me a toast that says I was able to make that purchase. If now I have a total energy of 1, I could still purchase reward A, but I can't purchase reward B, which costs 2, or reward C, which costs 3. So if I hit either button B or C, it will make the toast that says I have insufficient resources. Okay, so I can select A, then A. I can select B and then nothing else, or I could try to select C and it'll never work because if I start with 2 energy, then I can't purchase that. It costs too much. Okay, so I had this. This was a make purchase, which is what was called from my listener for the buttons, the reward buttons. There you go. So make purchase with, and it was just passing in a cost of 1, 2, or 3. Not as dynamic as it will be by the time you do homework 3. So you will have to make changes there. Okay. Next thing we did, I made the button for activity underscore main. So I had people put in a purchase button. Now this purchase button is a little bit down and to the right. Take a look at the blueprint. You can see the gap right about there. Okay, so a little bit down, a little bit to the right. And how we get that, well, that code's going to be at the very bottom. If I put in a width of wrap content, it didn't look as nice as I wanted it to. It was okay, but it used the string purchase reward, and it made my button a little bit longer than I wanted. There are 3 different types of things you could put for your width or your height. We've gone over this before. Wrap content says make me as big as I need to be. So in this case, it kind of just fit the length of that string. Make me as big as the parent by saying match parent. And if I did that, then it's going to go all the way across the screen. Match parent, like so. Notice that it is shifted right, and that's because of the code that comes after right here. But I also have a fixed amount that I could move it over, and I had to play around with that a little bit, but 110 density independent pixels seemed to work nicely to get this picture that I thought was a little bit more pleasing. This is the string that I probably should change, and maybe I will here for you. So let me take this out, and I will go into the strings and put it in. So that would be under values and strings, and I'm just going to put it there because I don't want to erase my clipboard. I will copy this, bring that down, cut this, put it in here. Actually, that goes here. I will paste again. And this could be lowercase purchase underscore lowercase reward. And now I will put this on my clipboard. So now I have the string all ready to go. I'll go over to my activity underscore robot. And instead of having, or that would be an activity underscore main, and instead of having a text that's blank, I will say at string and string /, and then purchase reward should work fine there. That's actually now better than it was in class because I should have done that, but I did run out of time. All right, so I will now close out strings. I am done with it, and I really should be done with activity underscore main as well. So to get it to move down, it was margin top of 20 density independent pixels and margin left. I did accidentally type margin left. Well, what I mean to say is I was looking down, I typed margin left, and then I was like, wait a minute, that shouldn't have been margin left. It should have been margin start. It doesn't really matter. Remember that when we're learning constraint view, top is top, bottom is bottom, left is start, and right is end. I kind of like that you could use either margin start or margin left, and they both come out to be the same. I think I'll leave it here, that code, I'll X that out, and feel like that's okay. All right, so the next thing we meant to do is wire that button up. So we came up here, and we said we're going to promise to use this purchase button when it's not null. To finish wiring up, we come down here, and we say purchase button is find view by ID. And then we set the listener. So purchase button dot set listener. All right, so let me comment out this guy, and put this back. Let's see. That should be commented out, and that should be uncommented. There we go. Okay, so this is what we did next. Okay, so we were doing this in levels. Level 0 was basically going into the manifest and saying, I want the launcher to actually launch this new activity just so I can see that it's going to appear. Okay. Level 1 is we have the listener make an intent and then start activity. Okay. Here's what's going on here. And once I explain this, we'll call this video, and then I'll make another one for the last part. All right. So an intent is just a very simple object that is going to do some communication. I'm going to pause the video and make a little drawing here. Just give me a second. Or I guess I can draw it live for you. Okay, so we're in our activity. We happen to be in the main activity right now. That main activity is going to be doing work maybe continuously, right? Even if it's doing nothing, it's still alive. And maybe it has a clock, and maybe it has some listeners that will watch out in case we ever do anything, okay? So it's got some activity. Well, behind the scenes, we have the Android operating system. And that Android operating system has something called an activity manager. Okay, that activity manager is on the lookout for specific communications. Those communications are the intents, okay? An intent is a small, simple package that the activity manager looks out for to say, oh, you want something? You want to start something? Okay, we send that over. That is my intent. It gets the intent, says, oh, you wanted to start that new activity. I see it. Comes back, says that activity was some activity. It happens to be our robot purchase, but now this is the guy that's active. All right, so that's what's going on at the moment. The main activity will make an intent, and it will say, let's start activity. We actually have to make that call. Start activity, and we're passing in the intent. It gets the intent. The intent is going to start my activity, activity. There, reasonable, okay, and now it's gone. All right, so let's show that this is working. Okay, so yeah, fairly clear with my mess there. I'll get rid of it in between videos. So we're going to make a value. We're going to call it intent. That's just a variable. It could be anything. This is a call to a intent constructor. It's got two parameters, okay? A context and a class which I want to start. I want to start the robot purchase class. Robot purchase, and then this is the class literal. Okay, robot purchase, I want it to be the class robot purchase. The .java is only necessary because we are working in, do I see it up here? Yeah, I see it up here. Kotlin Java. We're working in Kotlin, okay? If we were working in Java, we would just need class. But the class.java is going to make it so that we can actually turn our Kotlin code into Java code and Java back into Kotlin and make them perfectly compatible. Okay, so we have to add that .java because we're in Kotlin. This. Now, we talked about this in class. It's kind of a big idea. All right, I won't go through it again in this video. But if you are like, okay, it's a big deal and I think it's a simple word and I wasn't in class, maybe you should do a little bit of research. Like, what the heck is this? All right, but it is a context. That context is an activity. So the intent has two parameters. The activity, which happens to be main activity, this, and the class you want to start, robot purchase. Okay, so now I've got the intent with some information in it that's going to get sent over. We then call a method which is start activity, passing in the intent. The Android operating system hears this or gets this call of start activity and now can read that intent. So when I run this now, with those two lines uncommented and these commented, let's see what happens. So I will go to purchase my reward, and it says I have an energy of 4. Great. If I use the back button, I can get back to my game in the state that it was in when I left. I can come over here, and it says you got 4 energy. 4 energy, I could buy something for 3, but not 3 and 2. But I can buy something for 3 and 1, and I can't buy anything else anymore. Now if I go back, and I just go right back to purchase that reward, well, that 4 energy is reborn, because even though I am trying to start the activity, what I've succeeded in doing is starting it only, not passing anything over. What I'll want to do next is pass something over, and what I'll want to do after that is kind of save what I did here and pass that information back. But that's for videos next time. All right, see you in those videos. Bye.